subtracting, multiplying, adding polynomials is basically like terms. You know, for example, that 7x squared plus 7x squared plus 5x is when you add or subtract, you have to have the same variable. You add or subtract those, but the exponents don't change. Plus a trinomial. You can basically so those are the easiest ones. X squared, which is 4x squared. 6x 4 and minus 30. Yep, on those. Number 2. Cubed. Do I have any other x cubes? Yeah. Nope, so just write 5x cubed. X squareds, I have a negative 2x squared. Those just cancel out and make 0. Okay. I try to go in order. So the next thing, is there anything to add to that one? Nope. So just plus 2x, and I have a, which is what? Plus 21. Anything right now? right now.
Choice of words.
Subtracting polynomials. Does anybody know what you do on these? You do subtract. So some people like to read it and they like to be, okay, negative 4x squared minus 2x squared. That's fine. You could also think of this as like distributing the negative. And so this would turn into a negative 2x squared, a plus x, and a minus 7. So basically, you distribute the negative, and so now that's all gone once you distributed that, and combine like terms. I'm going to do CLT, combine like terms.
You don't have to do that, do you?
You can say negative 4 minus 2, 5 minus negative, that's okay. Yeah. So once I've distributed the negative, I have a negative 4x squared and a negative 2x squared. That's negative 6x squared. I have a 5x and an x. That's what? 6x. A negative 1 and a negative 7 is negative 8. Number 4, I distributed the negative, or basically just changed my signs in the second one, and now I can combine like terms. I have a 6x cubed and no other x cubes, so 6x cubed. I have a negative 5x squared. Yep. I have a 4x and a 3x. 7x. A negative 1 and a negative 4. Negative 5. You have to pay attention to that sign in the middle. Okay, a lot of people see this and they're like, oh, and they forget that it's subtraction and they forget that. So you gotta not be going so fast you're not paying attention. Multiplying polynomials. So notice when you have two polynomials, there's no sign in between them. That means multiplying. Something I've noticed in the past few years is that, okay, you're like, oh, adding is so easy, and then once we start multiplying, people just think everything is multiplying. So if there is a plus sign in between it, it's not multiplying. If there's no symbol, that means multiply. So you can do FOIL method. You might have learned distribute or double distribute. I am going to do this. I'm going to do like the box method, the reverse box method. The reason I like that is because, especially when you get bigger polynomials, it's easy to miss something. And we're going to draw a box, and when you have that box, you don't miss anything. So it just kind of keeps you from making a little mistake. So I have a binomial and a binomial, and I'm multiplying them. So I'm going to make a 2 by 2 box. And we're doing the basically reverse of what we did in factoring. So this x plus 2 is going to go on the outside, and then the 3x plus 8 is going to go on the top. You could have done that reversed. And then inside, what we do is we multiply what's on the top and what's on the side. So what is 3x times x? 3x squared. What is 8 times x? 8x. 3x times 2? 8 times 2? 16. And so my final answer, I'm going to write these terms out, and you will need to combine like terms. Notice I have a 6x and I have an 8x. We can combine those. So my answer is 3x squared plus 14x plus 16. In Unit 5, I gave you the 3x squared plus 14x plus 16 and asked you to give me those up there. Number 6, if I'm going to choose to do the box method, what size box do I need? 2 by 3. Again, if you don't feel like you need this, that's fine. I'm just warning you that it is easy to like miss a number somewhere. So I have a 3x and a minus 4. If you made your box going up and down more, that's fine. It doesn't matter which thing you put on top, on which one on the bottom. 5x squared plus 2x plus 1. So see, like when I am completed, every single one of these little boxes should have something in it. And you'll know right away if it doesn't. 5x squared times 3x. Yes. 3x times 2x. 6x squared. Good. 3x times 1. Negative 4 times 5x squared. Good. Negative 4 times 2x. Negative 8x, very good. And negative 4 times 1, negative 4. I like to go ahead and circle my like terms. Many times your like terms are going to be diagonal like this. It's not always the case that they're diagonal, but regardless, you combine any like terms. and I get 15x cubed minus 14x squared minus 5x minus 4. I'm going to give you a minute or two. I want you to try number 7. Just write what you think it is. I purposely made you do this one without any assistance because I wanted you to get it wrong. If you put x squared plus 9 or x squared minus 9, you are wrong. What does it mean when you have a squared of something? It's multiplied by itself. So this is really x minus 3 times x minus 3. You still need like the FOIL or box or whatever you choose to do. It is so common for people to see this and just do the x squared and the 3 squared or the negative 3 squared. That's not what you do. Sorry, I set you up to fail. Some of you passed anyway. So you need a box with x minus 3 and x minus 3. So x squared minus 3x minus 3x and a positive 9. X squared minus 6x plus 9 is your final answer. Now try number 8. And go ahead and try number 9 while you're at it. For number 8, did you get 4x squared plus 20xy plus 25y squared? Good. And number 9, I can't really do that one in my head. Let me do it out.
Does it matter how you order them?
If you have two variables, not really, but with just x's, you need to go with your exponent biggest to smallest.
So like in number 8, does it matter really?
Nah, not really.
I know if you put like 25 squared.
Six x to the 4th plus 7x cubed minus 45x squared plus 41x minus 9. So the box method, especially ones like this, if you don't do the box, you got to do the 3x squared. You got to distribute it to all those 3, which is essentially what you're doing here, right? This is basically saying, okay, I'm distributing the 3x squared to each of those, the negative 4x to each of those, the 1 to each of those. But it makes sure that you don't miss anything. Alright, the last one we're going to do today is dividing polynomials by a monomial. This is the only way that we're going to learn to divide right now, when there's only a monomial in the bottom. There's no like 3x plus 5 or anything. It's just 3x. When you do these, we're going to split them up into separate fractions. So I have a 9x cubed over 3x minus 24x squared over 3x. So basically every term in the numerator is going to be divided by the denominator separately. What is 9 divided by 3? 3. X cubed over x? X squared. Is that x squared in the top or bottom? Top, yep. So nothing is left in the bottom. We're good. Negative, or 24 divided by 3? 8. So this is a minus 8. X squared over x? X, top or bottom? Top. So nothing was left in the bottom anywhere.
So you subtract the x squared?
Yep. Yep. Or think of them as canceling out. Same thing. So number 11. over 2? 7. And I have the x cubed. Very good. 20 over 2? 10. And then I will have an x left because one of the x's canceled. It does all cancel out, so what do I put there? Anything? Plus 1. Anything, when you divide anything by itself, it is plus 1. Because 2 divided by 2 is not 0. 2 divided by 2 is 1.
So you don't make it...
The x's would be x to the 0. Technically, they cancel. X to the 0 is 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. So 1. Number 12. What is 30 divided by 3? 10. How many x's are we left with? Top or bottom? Good. 12 over 3? 4. How many x's am I left with? None. They all cancel. Yep. Plus 9 divided by 3? 3. How many x's? 1 on the bottom. So it's 3 over x. Notice on that one, the x squared, there was one more x in the denominator. So I left an x in a denominator. So I basically just had to make it a fraction so I could put an x down there. Okay. And then the last one. $40 divided by 8? 5. X's, what am I left with? Top or bottom? Y's? In the bottom. Good. Minus 24 divided by 8? 3. X's? Cancel out. Y's? 2 in the top. So that one did not need a fraction. If there's no fraction, it's considered all in the numerator. Any questions?